This one... this one hurts to talk about. It's too recent, too close. I was in northern Pennsylvania. Just needed to get away for a few days, focus on some work. I found this small rental online. It ticked all the boxes. Middle of nowhere, no neighbors, total privacy. When I pulled up, the porch light was already on. I remember thinking, oh, that's nice, welcoming. Looking back, it feels like it was waiting for me. The place smelled like dust and old timber. It was deadly quiet. The only sound in the whole house was this clock on the living room wall. Old school, analog, tick, tock. You couldn't ignore it. First night, fine. Second night, that's when it started. I woke up at 2 a.m., dead sharp, heart hammering against my ribs. I lay there listening, trying to figure out what woke me up. And then I heard it. The clock. It sounded heavy. It wasn't ticking faster, it just sounded angry, like it was forcing the time forward. And the rhythm was wrong. It would tick, tick, stop, and then tick again. I got up, walked into the living room. There it was, moving normally. But when I checked my phone, only 2 minutes had passed since I woke up. It felt like an hour. Next morning, I was exhausted. I walked past the clock. It was 5 minutes behind my phone. I fixed it, whatever. That night, I'm working on my laptop. Midnight, suddenly the house goes silent. The ticking stopped. I looked up. The second hand was frozen. I stood up to check it, and snap, it jumped forward and started ticking again. At that exact second, my laptop screen went black. When it rebooted, the time on the screen had rolled backwards. It was earlier than when I started. That's when the real fear set in. By day 4, reality felt thin. My phone alarms were late. Texts were coming in with the wrong timestamps. It felt like the house was drifting away from the rest of the world. Then came the last night. 2 a.m. again. I woke up to footsteps. Downstairs. Slow, heavy, barefoot. Thud, thud. I froze. The footsteps stopped right under my room. The clock stopped ticking. The silence was so loud it hurt my ears. Then, tick. But it wasn't coming from downstairs. It was in the hallway, outside my door. I grabbed my phone for light. My hand was shaking so bad I almost dropped it. I opened the door. The hallway was pitch black, except for the wall at the far end. The clock was there, hanging on the wall outside my bedroom. It hadn't been there before. The hands were spinning slowly. I looked at my phone. The numbers were frozen. Time wasn't moving. Then I heard it, breathing, right behind my ear. I couldn't turn around. My body wouldn't move. A hand touched my shoulder, cold, heavy, and then the ticking started again. Blink. I was back in bed. The sun was streaming through the window. I checked my phone. Hours had passed in a split second. I didn't pack. I just grabbed my keys and ran. Didn't lock the door. Didn't look back. I tried to find listing later that day. It was gone. I found an old archive of the page, though. The photos were the same, but darker. And at the very bottom, in small print, was a line I hadn't seen before. Please note, guests may experience time loss during extended stays. I don't rent old houses anymore. And sometimes, if my phone freezes for a second, I swear I can hear that clock ticking.
This was years ago, way before that night in Wyoming, back when I was still running late deliveries through western Montana. I actually liked the night shifts back then. No traffic, just the hum of the tires on the pavement. It felt peaceful, or well, I thought it was. It started normal. Clear sky, dry road. I was tired, sure, but I wasn't anxious, just focused on getting home. Then, my phone rang. Now, nobody calls me at 3 a.m. I looked at the screen, blocked ID. I almost let it go to voicemail, but I don't know, I just picked it up. I said hello, and there was this dead air. Not silence exactly. You could hear the connection, like someone was breathing on the other end. Then they spoke. They just said, my name. And they didn't say it like a ghost story, no whispering. It was calm, casual, like they were confirming an order. I asked who it was. Nothing. Click. Line dead. I laughed it off at first, told myself it was a wrong number or some drunk kid messing around, but my hands felt cold. 10 minutes later, ringing again. Same blocked number. I didn't answer this time. I turned the radio up to drown it out, but the signal was trash out there, just static popping in and out. The trees were getting tighter to the road now. It felt claustrophobic. That's when I checked the rearview mirror. Headlights. Way back. They weren't passing. They were just matching me. I sped up a little. They sped up. I slowed down. They slowed down. Perfect sync. The phone rang a third time. I picked it up without thinking. I was angry now. I yelled, "Who is this?" The voice. It sounded closer. Not on the phone closer, physically closer. They said, "I'm trying to find you." My stomach just dropped. I asked where they were. They said, "I'm already on the road." I hung up. I checked the call log. Nothing. No record. Zero history, like it never happened. I was shaking now. I told myself it was just stress, long hours. But then I looked in the mirror again. The car was closer. I took a sharp right onto a gravel service road, didn't even signal. The car followed. I took another turn, so did they. The road ended at a chain-link gate, dead end. I slammed the truck into park and killed the lights. Total darkness. The car behind me stopped too, but they didn't get out. They just sat there with their high beams flooding my cab. Then, click. Their lights went out. Pitch black. My phone rang one last time. The screen lit up the cab. I answered, but when the voice spoke, it didn't come through the phone speaker. It came from the passenger seat, right next to me. They said my name again. Same calm voice. I don't remember opening the door. I just remember the sound of gravel crunching under my boots and the sound of my own breathing. I ran until my lungs burned. They found the truck the next morning, door wide open, engine cold. But here's the thing. Dispatch pulled the logs. No calls ever came through my phone that night, not one. I don't do night routes anymore. And if a blocked number calls, I let it ring.
I was cutting through northern Wyoming late at night, real late. And honestly, I didn't even notice the moment things started to feel wrong. The first few hours were easy, almost relaxing. Just me, the road, and the soft sound of tires on pavement. The weather had been clear when I started, and I wasn't in a hurry. I remember thinking it was actually a nice drive. Then the snow started coming down. At first, it was light, just small flakes hitting the windshield. Nothing serious, but it didn't stay that way. Within minutes, it started falling faster, thicker, harder, way faster than the forecast said it would. I slowed down a little and leaned forward in my seat without realizing it. That's when I looked down at my hands. My knuckles were white. My fingers hurt from gripping the steering wheel so hard. I hadn't even noticed I was doing it. That's when the quiet started to feel different. Not peaceful, not calm, heavy. There were no other cars, no headlights ahead of me, none behind me either. I kept checking the mirrors just to be sure. The road wasn't just empty, it felt abandoned. My phone had no signal. The radio cut in and out, then gave up completely, just static. I turned it off because the noise was starting to get on my nerves. A few miles later, a warning light came on. At first, I told myself it was nothing. Cold weather does weird things to cars, but then the engine started to feel weak, like it wasn't responding the way it should. I pressed the gas, and the car hesitated before moving. That's when panic started to creep in. I pulled over near a line of trees because I didn't trust the car anymore. The snow was falling so hard now that the world outside the headlights looked like it was closing in. I sat there for a moment, breathing slowly, trying not to let my thoughts run away from me. Staying in the car didn't feel safe, but walking into the storm didn't feel much better either. That's when I saw the light. It was faint at first, a soft yellow glow in the distance. It didn't move, it didn't flicker. It was just there, steady. I stared at it longer than I should have. Then I opened the car door and stepped out into the cold. The wind hit me immediately. The snow soaked into my jacket as I started walking toward the light. Each step felt heavier than the last, but the closer I got, the clearer it became. It was a lodge, just sitting there beside the road, old but not falling apart. The windows were clean, the lights were on. It looked normal, too normal for a place this far out. I don't remember seeing it on the map, but at that moment, I didn't care. I pushed the door open. A bell rang once above my head. The sound echoed longer than it should have. Then it stopped. The silence that followed felt thick, like it pressed against my ears. The lobby was empty, completely empty. But it was clean, spotless. The floor looked like freshly swept. The desk looked like someone had just wiped it down. There was a book open on the counter, and a single room key was already sitting next to it. I waited. I called out. My voice sounded small in the open space. No answer. I stood there longer than I'm comfortable admitting. Finally, I signed my name in the book and took the key. The room number was already written beside it, like someone had expected me. The hallway upstairs was long and narrow. The lights were on, but they were dim. My footsteps sounded too loud in the quiet. The room itself was warm. That surprised me. The bed looked untouched. The curtains were closed tight. I checked my phone again. Still no signal. The time said it was just before 3 in the morning. I told myself I'd leave as soon as it was light outside. Sleep came in short pieces. I kept waking up, listening. At some point, I heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow, steady. They didn't stop at any door. They just passed by. When I checked the time again, it was almost 6. That's when I knew something was wrong. I stepped into the hallway. The lights were still on, but they felt weaker, like they were about to give up. I didn't see anyone. Downstairs, something new was sitting on the desk. A piece of paper. It hadn't been there before. I picked it up and read it. The message was simple, clear. Guests were expected to leave before morning. I checked my phone again. It was already past 6. The air felt heavier. The lodge felt aware. I didn't wait anymore. I walked outside into the cold morning air. The sky was starting to lighten. As I walked away, I had the strong feeling I was being watched. When I turned around, the lodge looked faded, like it didn't belong in the daylight. My car was gone. No tracks. No sign it had ever been there. That was when I realized I had stayed too long.